Tvwan. In this episode, Kangal ritual and dance celebrated in festival event. Hospital expresses urgent need for blood. And floriculture adding value to lives. Watch these stories on Scope this Sunday at 7 p.m. on Tvwan.
Hello and welcome to the Tvwan Midday News. A home video showing an armed policeman threatening the life of the medical doctor in the Midday province is making its rounds on social media. He and 3 others have been arrested and detained. Constable Gregory Wee, the gun-wielding policeman in the viral video, and 4 civilian accomplices are now in police custody at the Jumba holding cell. Charges will be laid once statements of both parties are complete. Police investigations into the matter will also determine the arrest of the other 4. Provincial Police Commander Robert Baim will later issue a formal statement to verify details of the incident and likely what triggered this confrontation. Meantime, hospital staff confirm its normal duties at Modilon. Alfred Kambai from the Police Internal Investigations Unit reassured them this morning that Constable Wee has been stripped of his uniform and disarmed.
He was disarmed na kono ko Jumba for detention. Ada 4 accomplices belongam civilian wali outbreak despun kol kiara koni jud na novel kata. Popla was arrested also kono to Jumba. Now we play to them victim. If you waiting them, we play to the victim. One more injuries for sustain him, and then we'll lay appropriate charges. And then later we can see PPC and by people and the management.
The people of Midday province joined the rest of the country yesterday to bid farewell to Sir Julius Chen. Midday town residents, business houses, public servants and schools led by the New Ireland community and the provincial administration gathered at the Visitors Bureau House Tumbuna, where a tribute ceremony was held. Business houses were given all notices for half-day operations.
People gathered at the Midday Provincial House before processing to the House Tumbuna for Sir Julius tribute ceremony, where a solemn service was led by the New Ireland community in Midday. Most speakers at the gathering challenged today's leaders to display the leadership traits of the founding fathers and to carry forth their legacies. Provincial Director for Education Alphonse Igag said history lessons should be integrated into the curriculum to include history about the country's founding fathers. Provincial Police Commander Acting Superintendent Robert Baim acknowledged the void that's been left behind by the founding fathers and stressed to students at the service that despite many of the country's leaders having limited formal education, they served with humility and dignity to bring this nation to what it is today. Pastor Nassan of the Lutheran Church in New Ireland Province came to Midday a week ago and is humbled by the kind gesture shown by the Midday community and New Islanders. The Midday community, business houses and residents relayed heartfelt condolences to the Chen family and New Ireland Province for their loss. They were also thankful for Sir J's immense contribution to the country. The day ended with a removal of the outcry which started last Sunday, 2nd February. Ruth Rungula, TV1 News.
Prime Minister James Marape delivered a moving tribute at the burial of Sir Julius Chen, honoring his unparalleled service, statesmanship, and enduring legacy in Papua New Guinea. Speaking before Sir Julius' family, the people of New Ireland, and the nation, Marape reflected on his extraordinary contributions to PNG's political and economic landscape, describing him as one of the nation's most influential and transformative leaders. The Prime Minister spoke on Sir Julius' humility, kindness and dedication. He assured the people of New Ireland that Sir Julius' contributions will be preserved for generations to come, announcing that Pango Party will support the establishment of the Sir Julius Chen Museum in Tvwan to preserve his speeches, writings and leadership philosophies. The National Youth Authority has committed its participation to the Youth Resource Week event through the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding. Initially announced for February 10 to 15 of this month, the event has been rescheduled for March 24th to 28th. The event will mark the start of a transformative initiative aimed at empowering Papua New Guinea's youth.
Engaged with the ongoing government initiatives and interventions in the youth space. The challenge is how can we connect them, how can we mobilize them and link them, create referral pathways for them to tap in. That has been the biggest challenge, and we need to hold hands with reputable players in that space like PNG Youth Resource Week.
So this is a really good move forward and in a positive direction for the country. We are so thankful and grateful to the leadership of our Prime Minister and also the Minister of Community Development, Youth and Religion.
Responsible, I like to congratulate Resource Week, Youth Resource Week with the NYDA for the achievement. And like you said, we don't have to do the signing and leave it as it is for the next 10 years. We have to start working and do that signing into action.
In news overseas, Victorian authorities are scrambling to locate at least 8 alleged criminals after the collapse of a bail monitoring company. The company also operated in New South Wales, where more than 20 defendants on bail were using its ankle monitors.
Billed as a private solution to the bail woes for the country's 2 biggest states. But today, BailSafe became a very public problem.
BailSafe's behaviour has been unacceptable.
Complete with GPS tracking, the company sold an expensive alternative to being remanded in custody, meaning alleged criminals with the means to pay could wait for trial without being locked up. But last week, BailSafe quietly shut its doors and told no one, including police and the courts. The closure first came to light in New South Wales days ago, the Victorian government admitting it only found out yesterday after media inquiries.
I just think the whole thing's quite staggering, if there's a specialist word, it's a schmozzle. It really is bad.
This afternoon, Victoria Police revealed BailSafe had been monitoring 8 people, but its founder Jackson Oppie claims that's not true. He told the ABC he wasn't monitoring anyone when he shut the company down.
GPS tracking is often a condition of bail and has been more routinely used since March of last year by the courts, particularly in relation to serious youth crime.
And it would appear that, at least at the moment, there's no regulation for some of these providers.
But while that didn't appear to be a problem this morning,
The advice I have from Victoria Police is that this has no impact on their responsibilities around the bail compliance checking.
late this afternoon, an 11th hour intervention.
I am going to do something about that. We are going to put a stop to the use of these companies in these circumstances.
New South Wales is also urgently reviewing the situation. The first job for the Victorian government working out just how big a role private bail tracking services play.
How many private bail companies are in use or operating in Victoria at the moment?
Well, we know of bail.
The federal parliament has passed what the government calls Australia's toughest laws against hate speech and hate crimes. Labor conceded to coalition demands for mandatory sentencing to secure support for the bill.
In Parliament's overflow chamber, after dark, the Albanese government revealed it had a deal. But it came with a back down. Labor, historically opposed to mandatory sentencing, caved to coalition demands for minimum jail terms for terror offences, terror financing and for displaying hate symbols. With the amendments adopted, the bill was fast-tracked through the House and the Senate.
The Parliament is acting today because the Prime Minister has been dragged, kicking and screaming, to finally introduce tough legislation.
The laws have been beefed up in response to a rise in anti-Semitism and amid continued pressure from the coalition. Today, Peter Dutton writing to the Prime Minister demanding a probe into when he was briefed about the discovery of an explosives-laden caravan on the outskirts of Sydney.
Of what was believed to be the biggest planned terrorist attack in our country.
The caravan was discovered on January 19. The state's Premier confirmed he was briefed the next day. A day later, he was with the Prime Minister touring a childcare centre that had been torched. But Anthony Albanese has never revealed if he was told about the caravan plot before news of the investigation leaked to the media on January 28. Saying only he's regularly briefed by agencies.
It's inconceivable that the Prime Minister didn't know about it.
In Queensland's flood zone, Anthony Albanese continued to stonewall.
For Peter Dutton, there is no issue too big for him to show how small his approach to politics is.
The Prime Minister is brushing off Peter Dutton's pursuit, but his refusal to say when he knew about the caravan terror plot means the questions will just keep coming. In his absence from Parliament today, both sides returned to their well-worn lines on cost of living, knowing this is the ground on which the election will ultimately be fought.
A childcare centre in Adelaide's north end suburbs has been forced to close due to safety and hygiene breaches. The centre has 14 days to fix the issues, leaving families in limbo.
Play space, now an empty yard. The Genius Childcare Centre on Prospect Road at Blair Athol was issued with an emergency action notice on the 31st of January.
There were concerns that were raised around fencing, around the cleanliness of the premises, around some flooring and a few other issues as well, pretty serious issues.
The state's independent regulator, the Education Standards Board, ordered the centre to close until the breaches are rectified. It was given 14 days to do so.
I have two kids that were attending. I've now pulled them out. A lot of the parents have had concerns since the takeover and staff members had left. And definitely what's been raised is the concern with the hygiene and the smoke alarms and things. That's been an ongoing issue for months.
In a statement, Genius Childcare told the ABC it had closed temporarily due to necessary maintenance to ensure a safe and high-quality environment. It says fees won't be charged while it's closed. The ABC has confirmed the centre cannot reopen unless and until it gets approval from the regulator. The regulator also has the power to impose conditions on the centre's operations or to suspend or shut down its services completely. The same company has also faced disciplinary action interstate, including at a Queensland centre.
This is currently the only childcare centre that Genius is operating in South Australia, but the company is seeking licences to open 5 other centres across the state, which it's advertising on its website as opening soon. The Education Minister says the regulator is yet to provide approval for those centres.
Situations that they might have had at their Blair Athol centre or interstate will be things that can be considered by our regulator here if and when they have to make a decision about permitting this provider to open more services in South Australia. So that is a very stringent test.
Another week remains on the 14-day deadline. In the meantime, families continue to play the waiting game.
And that's the news update. Have a pleasant day. Bye for now.